The P-51 was one of the Allies' most formidable fighters during World War II. Fast, powerful, maneuverable, and well-armed, the P-51 posed a real threat to Axis forces. Its excellent range allowed it to escort Allied bombers deep into enemy territory, playing a major role in the destruction of Germany's industrial capabilities and ultimately the collapse of the Reich. With an impressive kill ratio of 11-1, it proved to be a deadly adversary to the Luftwaffe. The P-51 Mustang has been widely accepted as the best fighter of World War II, but was a tiny, often forgotten Soviet fighter actually the best dogfighter of the war? The Yak-3 and the P-51 were both excellent aircraft, each with its own strengths and weaknesses, and offered similar performance in the air. The Yak-3 VK-105 had 1,300 horsepower, while the later Yak-3 VK-107A variant had 1,650 horsepower and a top speed of 447 miles per hour. The VK-105 engine was used in earlier models due to shortages. However, for such a small aircraft, this was still a substantial amount of power. The P-51D, the latest and most powerful version of the Mustang, featured a supercharged Packard V1650 Merlin 12-cylinder engine, the same engine used in the Spitfire. It produced 1,490 horsepower and gave the P-51 a top speed of 437 miles per hour. The Yak-3's power-to-weight ratio was substantially better than the Mustang's due to its superior horsepower and lightweight construction. In terms of raw performance, the Yak-3 was superior. The rate of climb is another key part of an effective fighter aircraft. The excellent power-to-weight ratio contributed to the Yak-3's outstanding rate of climb of 4,450 feet per minute, making it one of the fastest climbing fighters of World War II. The P-51 was slower in this regard, climbing at 3,475 feet per minute, about 1,000 feet slower than the Yak-3. However, the Yak-3's service ceiling of 34,000 feet was significantly lower than the P-51's, and it was most effective below 13,000 feet. Its performance decreased as it went up in altitude. The P-51 had a service ceiling of 41,000 feet and performed best above 15,000 feet. Effectiveness, therefore, depended largely on altitude. At low altitude, the Yak-3 had the edge. At high altitude, the P-51 was superior. While performance is an important factor to consider while comparing fighters, combat range plays a significant role in the effectiveness of the fighter. The Yak-3 had a combat range of 560 miles, which was relatively short, while the P-51 had a range of over 1,600 miles, nearly 3 times that of the Yak-3. It is important to note, however, that the Yak-3 was designed primarily as a short-range interceptor, not a long-range bomber escort like the P-51. Where the Yak-3 lacked in range, it made up for in maneuverability, being arguably the most agile fighter of the war. Pilots described it as a light and nimble, capable of outturning and outclimbing German aircraft. In fact, Luftwaffe pilots were instructed to avoid combat with the Yak-3 at altitudes below 13,000 feet. The P-51 was also highly maneuverable, though not on the same level as the Yak-3. Nevertheless, it was an excellent dogfighter, and like the Yak-3, achieved a kill ratio of 11-1. The Yak-3's superior maneuverability allowed pilots to be more aggressive and to simply outturn and outclimb enemy aircraft in close engagements, making it the better dogfighter. However, the Yak-3's light construction meant it did not absorb damage well, and was less survivable after being hit compared to the P-51. Neither aircraft was particularly renowned for durability like the P-47 Thunderbird. The Yak-3 was also more lightly armed, equipped with one 20mm cannon in the nose and two 12.7mm machine guns in the wings. The P-51 carried six 50 caliber machine guns in its wings and could also be used in a limited ground attack role, carrying rockets and bombs. The Yak-3, in contrast, was mainly confined to air-to-air combat. In the end, the P-51 was a more versatile fighter than the Yak-3. Both the P-51 Mustang and the Yak-3 were exceptional aircraft in their own right. The P-51 was a highly capable, multi-role fighter with outstanding range, high-altitude performance, and the versatility to escort bombers, dogfight, and conduct ground attack missions. The Yak-3, on the other hand, was an excellent dogfighter. It was lightweight, agile, and had a superior climb rate and power-to-weight ratio. At low altitudes, it was one of the deadliest fighters of the war, dominating the skies with its maneuverability and raw performance. In terms of air-to-air combat, especially at lower altitudes, the Yak-3 had the advantage. In the end, the Yak-3 was the better dogfighter, but the P-51 was the more versatile and well-rounded fighter overall. While the P-51 Mustang is widely regarded as the best fighter of World War II, the Yak-3 may very well have been the best pure dogfighter of the war.